the invisible anchors, how organizational habits sabotage change efforts. The problem, the weight of legacy habits. What is it costing you? For years, the same plants have grown in the exact same spots. It looks great, but the soil is depleted and nothing new can flourish. Change in organizations is like planting new seeds in old soil. It doesn't work unless you refresh the entire ground. This roadmap isn't just for CEOs or change managers. It's for anyone leading change. Think of this step as dusting off an old attic. You don't know what's up there. Boxes of memories or just junk. Remember, every great transformation starts with a single question. What is holding us back? And with the right strategies, the answer becomes your map to growth. Hi guys, welcome to yet another episode on Future Fit with Friska. And today we're going to be discussing the invisible anchors, how organizational habits sabotage change efforts. Have you ever tried to steer a ship through calm waters only to realize the anchor was still down? The crew is paddling, the motor's running, but the ship simply does not move. That's what invisible anchors feel like in organizations. They hold you back, even though everyone seems to be rowing in the same direction. Today, we're going to talk about these invisible anchors, the entrenched habits, the mindsets, the legacy systems that sabotage change, growth, and innovation. And most importantly, we're diving into how to cut those chains. So the problem, the weight of legacy habits, what is it costing you? Invisible anchors are the habits and systems that are deeply embedded in your culture that resist change. They're not obvious until you start to innovate or pivot. Think about the classic excuse, we've always done it this way. Research by McKinsey showed 70% of change initiatives fail, and one major reason for that is resistance. So these traditional anchors, whether they're outdated workflows, whether they're hierarchical bottlenecks, or whether it's a cultural trait to be complacent, they are often the culprits. They bleed productivity, morale, and innovation. Imagine a garden. For years, the same plants have grown in the exact same spots. It looks great, but the soil is depleted and nothing new can flourish. Change in organizations is like planting new seeds in old soil. It doesn't work unless you refresh the entire ground. We all have heard of Kodak, who famously failed to adapt to digital photography despite inventing the first digital camera. It's pretty ironic, right? Why do you think this was? Their legacy business model, a heavy reliance on film sales, was their invisible anchor. So instead of innovating, they clung to what had worked for them for decades. And this ultimately, as we know, sunk the company. So what may your invisible anchors be? Don't think that you don't have any, because we all do, in organizations and as individual people. As adults, we're all weighed down by behaviors, mindsets, and practices that we cling to, but we'd be better off letting go. So here's what these anchors may look like in an organization. And as I go through these, have a think of which ones exist in your organization. The first is cultural complacency. Often, success itself can become an anchor. Teams develop habits based on past wins, and these same habits may no longer be fit for what comes tomorrow. Harvard Business Review found that companies with high early success rates often struggle to reinvent themselves during disruption. Success actually traps them in complacency. The second, siloed mindsets. Departments focusing only on their immediate goals create walls that slow down organizational-wide change. During its turnaround, Ford Motor Company, under CEO Alan Mulally, addressed silos by implementing One Ford, which unified the company under a single vision. Maybe you have to do the same. Another anchor are overcomplicated systems. Legacy systems, like outdated software or redundant workflows, create invisible bottlenecks that are frustrating and depletes costs. A research report from Deloitte highlighted 83% of executives see outdated systems as barriers to digital transformation. No shit, Sherlock. When I was heading up change management at Worley, a global engineering giant, one of my change projects was identifying and getting rid of outdated, duplicated, ineffective, unused software. Getting rid of one application alone, I remember, saved about $2 million in 1 month, because subscription and licensing costs can be crippling when you've got a workforce of 50,000 employees. So in this particular change program, we whittled down 8,500 applications to a more manageable but still quite a large number of 450. So in any organization, change is inevitable, yet many of us feel like we're constantly fighting against invisible forces when trying to move forward. So whether it's a new strategy, a digital transformation, or just trying to implement a better way of working, it often feels like we're pushing against the current. It's because of these invisible anchors that we talked about earlier, ingrained habits, outdated systems, legacy mindsets that quietly sabotage even the best laid plans. So that's why I've developed this 5-step roadmap to help leaders and teams identify and break free of these anchors. This roadmap isn't just for CEOs or change managers. It's for anyone leading change, whether you're overseeing a company-wide transformation or just trying to get your team to adopt a new way of working. So, what's in it for you? By following this roadmap, you can expect some key benefits. The first is a smoother transition. So instead of feeling stuck or facing constant resistance, you'll gain clarity on how to make change less overwhelming and more actionable.
Are you leading change but constantly running into a brick wall of resistance? Maybe you've huffed and puffed, yet still not blown the house down. You are not alone. Resistance to change is one of the biggest roadblocks that leaders face, but it doesn't have to be. Imagine turning that resistance into momentum which drives you forward. That's exactly what my free 5-part mini course will help you do. It's called Shifting Resistance into Resilience, and in just 5 lessons, I'll walk you through proven strategies to break down those walls. You'll learn how to identify the root causes of resistance, engage your key stakeholders, yes, even the stubborn and loud ones, and build a culture that doesn't fatigue with change. It actually feasts on it. Sound good? All you need to do is click the link to get started, and the first lesson will be in your inbox. Don't let resistance render you powerless. Turn it into resilience that will push you forward.
The second point, increase buy-in. When people feel involved and empowered, they're more likely to embrace change rather than resistant. This roadmap helps build that trust and that momentum. And last but not least, sustainable growth. Breaking free of invisible anchors isn't just about fixing short-term problems. It's about creating the conditions for long-term innovation and success. So in short, this roadmap is your toolkit for moving from frustration to progress, from stagnation to innovation, and from change fatigue to change fitness. Think of it as a compass to help you navigate the uncertain waters of transformation while keeping your team energized, engaged, and focused. So let's dive into these 5 steps and how you can chart a new course for your organization. 5 steps to break free. The first, obviously, identify the anchors. So conduct an organizational audit. This includes employee surveys, focus groups, workflow analyses to unearth those habits and systems that are blocking your progress. Gallup shows engaged employees are often the best at identifying inefficiencies, so tap into them. When P&G audited its operations, it realized over-centralization was stifling innovation. They decentralized decision-making and they retained their agility. Think of this step as dusting off an old attic. You don't know what's up there, boxes of memories or just junk, but you can't move forward until you confront it. The second step, reframe the narrative. So challenge, we've always done it this way, with what if we did things differently? Start conversations like these that reframe these habits as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles. So Netflix is a famous example. They pivoted from DVD rentals to streaming because it reframed its purpose. From simply mailing DVDs to delivering entertainment. It actually wasn't about how, but about the why. Reframing creates a safe space for people to question assumptions without feeling threatened. Imagine turning an old photograph into a puzzle, right? Breaking it apart and rearranging it into something new. It's still familiar, but it now sparks curiosity. The third step, start with micro innovations. Test small, low-risk changes to show the benefits of letting go of old habits. It could be as simple as automating repetitive tasks or adopting a collaborative software platform. So MIT found that companies implementing small-scale pilot projects had a 30% higher success rate in even bigger change initiatives. We all know and have heard of Starbucks. You've probably been there. So Starbucks introduced mobile ordering as one of its micro innovations before rolling it out globally. And this helped ensure a smoother transition, not just for the people that work there, but customers too. Micro innovations build confidence and momentum, proving that change isn't as scary as it seems. The fourth step, focus on behavior, not just systems. Implement training programs focused on mindset shifts, not just technical skills. So for example, train managers on emotional intelligence and adaptability to be able to let them lead through uncertainty successfully. PwC found 73% of employees believe their leaders lack the skills to navigate change. That's a big number. You have to do something about it. So Satya Nadella's emphasis on a growth mindset culture shifted behaviors across the company, making innovation a core value. You cannot build a skyscraper on a shaky foundation. Mindsets are that foundation. So if they're brittle, the entire structure will collapse. The fifth step, create a feedback loop. Implement a real-time feedback system where employees can share their experiences with change. This could be through digital platforms, through anonymous surveys, through regular town halls. McKinsey found organizations that have robust feedback loops were 2.5 times more likely to sustain their transformation efforts. So for example, Airbnb, they have a continuous feedback culture to adapt its strategies, ensuring alignment with both employees and customers. I had an Airbnb property that I let out, and I'm also an avid user of their platform. And this is true. They always ask for feedback after experiences, after visits. This makes sure them, their people, and the people that use their platform are constantly improving. A feedback loop creates a sense of ownership and ensures that the change evolves based on real-world insights. Think of feedback as the GPS of change. It recalibrates the journey when you hit unexpected detours. Invisible anchors are a natural part of every organization, but they don't have to define your future. By identifying them, reframing narratives, starting small, focusing on behaviors, and building feedback loops, you can cut those chains of complacency and sail towards new horizons. Remember, every great transformation starts with a single question. What is holding us back? And with the right strategies, the answer becomes your map to growth. As always, if you need a co-pilot on this journey, I'm here to help. Thanks again for tuning in to yet another episode of Future Fit with Friska.